dealing with jealousy in a marriage. Is your jealousy getting the better of your relationship? In today's video, CeCe and I are going to share our thoughts and some of our experiences.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back to another episode of the Blissology Podcast. I am your host, CeCe, and I'm joined by my hubby.
Hey everybody, this is Willem, and welcome to our podcast. If this is your first time with us, this is a weekly podcast where we talk about
Love, life, family, relationships.
And once again, we're talking about jealousy.
Part 2.
Part 2.
So grab your tea because we're about to drop some tea today.
Okay, now.
I'm about to get all my feelings today, okay? All right. So let's get into a blissful moment. I almost said let's get into the topic of the day. I guess I'm ready for this. I am ready.
I can't believe she almost skipped the holy blissful moment.
I sure did. I almost skipped my blissful moment.
So what's your blissful
moment? I don't really have
I know you were pissed last week about the Amazon guy. So what ended up happening with that thing you ordered for me?
Well.
Well, she didn't call Amazon, which is a good thing. No, I did not.
I'm a Christian girl, okay? My spirit would not let me call customer service to report what happened. I actually wanted to.
Because nothing happened.
Nothing happened. So, yeah.
The good news is the glass she ordered nothing happened to the thing. I opened it and everything was fine.
True. Nothing happened.
She was upset over nothing.
I mean, I was upset the fact that, I don't want to go back into what I said last week, but I kind of feel like there was a need for me to be upset, right?
All is well.
I had my reason.
All is well.
All is well. For real. All is well. I've been using my glass and you've been using yours. And
all is well.
Listen, I went in there. I make sure there was no little, scratch on the bottle or nothing whatsoever. But my husband's like, everything is fine. No little, scratch here or there. The wine glass is fine. And I was like, okay, well.
All is world and we can move on with our lives.
Why you make it sound like I was being so dramatic? I don't think I was being so dramatic. I was just being like, I wanted to vent. And I feel like he really didn't do a good job. And there was someone else that dropped off your box
Let me
the
say
next
this.
day.
If someone was to gauge to see if she was dramatic, take a look back at last week's podcast. The first 5 minutes.
Like 5.
And you can leave a comment. If she was dramatic, just put drama in big caps letter on the comments.
If you love me, you're not gonna do that.
Anyway, the link is somewhere in there, so if you want to check it out.
I don't think I was being dramatic. I think I was like, on my rightful terms, my ways of it was my rights to get upset. It was my rights, and I think, I got upset and for nothing. But I got upset because he didn't deliver the package with care. He threw the box, like I mentioned before.
What I would say, it's good to reserve your upsetness for things that are more important.
I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. And the thing is, when it happened at the moment, you just can't hold back not to have a reaction. And I feel like at that moment, I wanted to say something to him. At that moment, I opened the door. I opened the door.
All is well.
I was like a little gangster last week. And guess what? The next day, he got a package. I don't know what kind of cable he ordered because this man ordered a lot of cables, okay? A lot of pieces of cable here and there. And the guy delivered the package nicely. And I give him a good ratings. I say the package was delivered with care. And then that's great. But the other guy, you're lucky. Or the lady, like my husband said last week. Or the lady, whoever you are, next time, do better. But what I wanted to say about my blissful moment, but thank you though. Thank you, babe, for reminding me about that. I took a day off on Monday. Okay. To me, I kind of feel like that was well deserved, you know. Uh I took a day off from my office. Okay. Although my husband wanted me to call the office. He's like, call the business line on your phone because I have two phones, my personal and my business. This man here, he even advised me to do like a TikTok video. He's like, do a TikTok video or whatever, and just pretend like he calling your office and pretend like you're the second person in the office. He was like, you gotta do it. But I called out. I'm like, office, you ain't see me in the office today. And I didn't show up. I stayed in bed. I watched me some good old Mike Epps. I don't remember the show. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a good
It's
laugh.
on Netflix. It's funny.
It with Kim Fields. It was really good. And Wanda Snipes. It was really good. I enjoyed myself. I got the girls ready for school, last week of school. And I said, you know what? I'm not drinking coffee because if I take some coffee, I'm not going to sleep. So I took my blanket and it was well deserved and I was good. I slept. I didn't sleep the whole day, but I kind of had that moment. I needed that moment, You know, when you work for yourself, you constantly in the office or calling and doing a lot of things when your mind never really get a good rest. Yeah.
She took a day off.
I took a day off. I didn't call the office. My husband, I call your business phone.
I thought it would have made a good TikTok video. That's what I see people do. They think of creative ideas, and you would have said, this is what you do when you're calling yourself sick.
And I told him I'm not sick. I just want time off for me. I'm not sick. I know my husband have called before. When he's not sick, is that I'm just not coming. You don't need to know whether if I'm sick or if I'm not, I'm just not coming. And that was me on Monday. I did not call. I did not step.
No comments.
I didn't even like walk in the office. And mind you, it's like literally like a few steps away from my bedroom. And I'm like, nope. The door was closed. And I didn't step one foot in here.
Well, she enjoyed a day
I
off.
did. And on top of that, it was raining. So listen, it's the best way ever. The best way to take a day off when it's raining and you just, Tuesday, you're going to get back, in that moment again, get back into and although Tuesday was really a busy day for me, so it was well deserved for Monday. Right?
She enjoyed a day off.
Yes, I did. And I know you gonna need some time off yourself.
I got some vacation coming.
Yes, you're gonna take a full day where you could do it Sunday.
I should.
Sunday's Father's Day. You should do it on
Sunday's
Sunday.
Father's Day? Yes, I should do nothing.
You should do nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Except for you cook the steak though. That's the best father gift ever, right? Like you get on the stove or you get on the grill and you make some nice steak with some nice,
That's work.
Well, that's what fathers do. On Father's Day. They grill. They get to celebrate.
What she did on Monday, I'm going to do it this Sunday.
Okay, and I'm going to record it, guys. I'm going to show you that this man is not the type that will do it, but I'm going to force him to do it on Sunday. I will. We're going to tie you. We're going to glue you to the bed on Sunday, okay? Except for you have to wake up to go to church. That's it. So, guys, all right. I hope you enjoy my our blissful moment. And my blissful moment. And now let's get into the topic of the day. Yes, as I mentioned earlier,
dealing with jealousy in a marriage.
Listen, we talk about that. We talk about dealing with jealousy, like when you're dating someone. This was part 1. So we figure why not make a part 2 when it comes to when you married someone, when you're in that deep relationship with that person, right? So let's talk about it.
Well, it's from a loving place, you know. I know some of us love our partners so much that
Yes.
we don't like to see them getting close to any other person, right?
Mm-hmm. True, true, true.
And whether I'm jealous or you jealous, jealousy in a marriage can be bad.
It can be
Very
bad.
bad for a relationship.
But I gotta say this though, like I kind of feel like when I was dating you and now that we're married, the level of jealousy is not the same as it was when we were dating.
Well, do you know now that I'm wearing this ring?
Not so much. There's people who wear the rings and they still go out there and do
Yeah,
crazy
but it's not
stuff.
as easy as when you're dating, because I could just stop taking your calls when we were dating.
Well, now you off the market, more like. Yes, because I do notice that I was more jealous when when we were dating. And now it's more like, you know, you ain't going nowhere. You can talk
Well,
to her.
it's different. It's different, and jealousy obviously is something we've all experienced.
Yes. Yes.
And many times it's to preserve what we have.
Yeah,
I think
you
many
want
of
to
us are
hold on
jealous
to
because
it.
we want to keep what we have. We make sure no one else gets access to it.
Access to it.
Well, yes, access to the person, to when no one else messing with my feelings.
Yes.
Things like this. It's for protection.
Protection is more like,
But
yes.
jealousy is a powerful emotion.
It is.
It's
very much
powerful,
so.
and if you're not careful, it can cause issues.
Lots
It can
of
cause
issues.
major issues, especially at the early stages of dating. Yes, you can break that off and you move on your way if you're
Right.
incompatible. But
Right.
when you're in a marriage, it can become a long-term issues.
Mm-hmm.
And
It can
issues
break-
sometimes that can be
yes.
very damaging.
Yes, yes, and I truly believe that there's a certain level of jealousy that can easily break your marriage, right?
Imagine this. If I had to check in with you every hour or so.
Yes.
Oh yes.
To me,
I'm
that's like
still
a
at
trust
work.
issues.
Some people could be
Yeah,
going through that. And this is
I
where
feel like if you married someone, the checking ins with that person should not be. There's people that may had a really bad relationship prior, and now they're married to that person. They still have that same mentality, and they're still checking in with that person, right? So, but why are you checking with him? He's at work. I don't do that to you. Let's be honest.
no, you don't.
I don't.
I know sometimes. See, I'm bad at returning texts, and sometimes she'll just
Very
just
bad.
check, just see how I'm doing. She's send out a text, and it's not until I'm done working.
I will text on you. Like if you running late,
Well,
like
yes,
if
and that's reasonable.
Right.
You want to make sure
and
that
it's
I'm
not
okay.
like
and
I'm
nothing
checking to
happens
see where
me.
he's at. No, just checking to say, hey, you okay? Like it's.
And that's
been,
when I say I'm hanging out somewhere.
I'm like, okay, it's been 30 minutes. Where you at? No.
Yes. But when you get to the point where that whole checking in, the person has to
Yeah.
report their status or their location,
Oh
or
my
better
God.
yet, you put an app on their phone, you checking where they are. This is where jealousy can get out of control.
Yeah. That's
Actually,
like really bad.
This is more like controlling.
controlling.
It's beyond jealousy.
Yes.
But you usually start with jealousy where you want to maintain, you want to keep this, you want to.
Right.
And one thing that I think sometimes that may cause this, if this person had been burnt in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying this as if it's okay,
Right.
because
Right.
you've had a bad experience. That's where if it's me or if it's you or whoever's in that relationship, you got to check yourself.
Right.
Make sure that you're not going in this relationship carrying whatever baggage you had prior and that caused you
Yes.
to treat this person. Because
Yes.
I'll tell you, if I'm with someone and you're doing this to me, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I'll see how you are while we date.
Well, you can't.
Before we even
do
get to the
that.
point.
I mean, if we're married, you can't.
Yeah, if we're married, I can't just pick up and leave.
You can't.
But I would have found, because these behaviors don't just show up
Right.
after you get married. Because if
Yeah.
you pay attention, you'll see them before then.
You'll see all those red flags. Hey,
Yeah.
like especially if some guys or if your spouse don't like you to keep on checking on them every hour, every minute, like, hey, what's going on? And I feel like sometimes it's the wife or the woman that may have trust issues, where they kind of sometimes consider that low self-esteem or insecure.
It can happen with either partner, though.
Right.
Either partner. I've run into cases where there's guys, I'm like, come on, man. If you don't trust your woman this much, why are you even with them?
Why you even marry them? Right?
Is if I have to report to you, or you to the point where you can't trust me to just make the right decision, why are we even into this thing?
Right.
But when it gets into a marital relationship, you can't just pick up. If you've weathered it to the point where you married this person, then you got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yes, unless if you just happen to marry them a year later while you were dating this person, where you didn't really know them that well. Because that happens sometimes when they don't really know the person well enough, and they just jump into marriage, and then marriage causes problem where there's trust issues, and there's like controlling problem where you gotta, if you go into the nail salon, let me know, text me when you're there, text me will you like, and first,
hey,
like
read the status report.
But the thing is, we do text each other if we're going somewhere. Like if I'm going to let's say if I'm going to get my hair done, I would text my husband. I'll be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, and there's certain things we do in our relationship. It's not that it becomes a requirement we have to do it, or we're reporting our place. Because I want to make sure that if I'm somewhere, something happens to me, you at least have an idea of where I am. Because some crazy thing happens to you, if I know where you are, then at least that gives me a starting point. So yes, it's important to have an open communication with your spouse. However, when it becomes to a point where one is controlling the other due to lack of trust, that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
I get Marv will text me, hey, I'm on my way, I'm doing this. I'm good. I don't have to explain anything else.
Right.
The same thing for her, because I trust her to do the right thing, and she trusts me to do the right thing. That's why we just we do this little checking on each other. Not that we have to. We do it for safety reason. It's like, for instance, it's been raining all week.
Right.
So when I leave work, we normally speak. So, okay, I can't talk. It's raining. I'm getting off the phone. But those become things to do. But if one day that I call, she may say, hey, everything okay? And I say, yeah, I'm fine. I'm handling something.
Yeah, like I texted you earlier. I'm like, hey, are you taking lunch? It's 3:00.
And I'm like, no, it's been a long day.
You did.
Yes. And when and this is where it's important to have that open communication.
Right.
But it's never important to let yourself get to the point where you're assuming things, because assumption will kill you. Like, for instance, you didn't hear from me. You assume that I'm doing something.
I'm assuming where'd you go?
And then you sit at home and you give it all type of,
especially watching those movies on Lifetime. I'm working late kind of thing.
I've been working late.
You have? I must
Yes.
send my brother to go to your branch and see what you're doing there. Funny I mentioned my brother that one time. Shout out to my brother. There was one time.
Did you have your brother watch me?
I did not. Remember, he works almost in the same area as you, right? His business office is very close to yours.
She had her brother watch me.
I did not. I did not. So he drove by your office one time and he said, Will is still there. He's still working. Is everything okay? And I told him, yeah, everything. I don't even remember what happened. It could have been where you were working late. But he saw you in the office, as I had texted you that day and see if you were okay. And then he kind of told me that you were fine. And mind you, I didn't even know that he was in the neighborhood. Hey, listen.
She had people check on me while we were dating.
I don't.
Now she has her. No, I'm just kidding. We
don't do that.
We're not. Well, she's not that insane.
I am not that insecure. Okay.
She's not. She absolutely is not. But yeah, we're talking about assuming. Don't ever let yourself assume that your partner is doing something wrong, or make him believe that you assume that he or she's doing something wrong. But
it's in the mind, babe. It's so hard for us to think of the positive. Like, it's like, okay, my husband, especially if your spouse work in a building that has a lot of girls, and you start thinking, especially if you work for like a corporation, a big corporation or whatever, and there's like tons of buildings, and you start like question. It's just like, for some reason, like whenever something is going to the left, our mind kind of like go into the negative.
But you shouldn't let it. And this is where I think it's important to be very open with your partner.
Absolutely.
and there's insecurities. You can feel your insecurities because your partner is the one person that you can allow yourself to be vulnerable
Right.
with. If you're insecure about your feelings, be open about it.
Yeah. Talk about
Because
it.
you'll find that if your partner knows the things that may be hurtful to you,
Mm-hmm.
if they love you enough, they'll do what they can to put you at ease. But don't just bottle up all your feelings, putting up a front when inside you tearing up. No.
Yep.
If you think that girl is too pretty for him to work too close to, just let him know, hey, listen, I'm feeling a little bit uneasy because this girl looks better than I do, or I'm feeling a little bit uneasy.
No woman will say that. Come on. How bad of a woman? No, come on. There's no woman will say, listen, I'm feeling a certain
But
way
if you were to
because you're
tell me
working
this,
with
I'll tell you,
someone.
baby, you know what? You're the prettiest woman in my life.
Well, first of
Don't
all,
worry about it.
what would she say that to her husband? Because you can have your concerns, but don't say that, you work with this pretty lady at your job. I know that she's cute, she's everything, or I'm not as pretty as her. But I don't think you should ever down.
Well, not down. And this is what I'm saying now. You have to be very, because you may be intimidating by someone that your significant other work with. But instead of keeping that feeling inside, it's okay to open up to this person and let them know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where this person will give you some reassurance. People may feel like their spouse work with people that are too pretty. Now, if you feel this way,
quit your job.
Well, they can quit their job. They have to provide for the family, whether it's the wife or the husband. And this is what I'm saying, that it's okay to allow yourself to be vulnerable with your partner. Obviously, you're not going to go out there and broadcast that you feel inferior to this person, but you can have an open conversation with your partner. At least let them know how you feel. Now, remember, this is your husband. This is your wife.
Right.
You can have that conversation with them. If they understand, then obviously they can give you some reassurance. They can comfort you. They can help you get out of that. Because just because you don't speak the feeling, that doesn't mean it's not in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let it sit there, it's going to.
Yeah.
Before you know it, this person's working late one day. You're thinking they're doing something that they shouldn't.
You start picturing them together.
Yes. And it's important to be open with your partner.
Absolutely.
Share your emotions, because that will help you get some clarity on how. And your partner, I mean, hopefully you have someone who understands stuff. Hopefully you married someone who understands and who could be a supportive husband or wife to you.
Yes.
Because if that person's a jackass, then you have other problems.
Right. And I do feel like, all these things should happen while you're dating that person before you get so deep into that marriage life, right? I feel like you should know where this spouse of yours stands. Okay, this is previous things that happened in the past. Like my husband, no, in the past, I was a little bit more like, okay, why are you hugging her? Why are you putting your arm around her? But now he knows, he's married almost 13 years. So he knows not to, certain things is just like not appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like sometimes it's not a matter of, whether if I am the type who are being jealous of what my husband's doing. I think it's more like, okay, is this appropriate for me to do? Because I'm married now. I have a spouse. I have there's certain things I can't do. There's certain people I can't be around. So, listen, this can be very exhausting. I feel like...
Having a jealous partner?
Am I?
You haven't been.
I haven't been.
And I think that's where the understanding, the type of relationship we have and understanding each other, that's right. But it can be exhausting.
It can be very exhausting.
You can only put up with so much controlling behaviors.
You could be on your phone
or so many questionings as where you have to explain
everything all the time. You could be on your phone, right?
If you didn't pick up that call at that time, you got to give a valid explanation as to why you didn't. Now, this hasn't happened to me, but if I were dealing with this, we'll have problems.
Major problems.
We'll have problems.
And the thing is, it's just the controlling part of it for me. Like, why you keep on checking on your spouse, right? How much trust do you have in this guy or in
Now,
this girl?
If your spouse screwed up and
Cheated
did something
before.
they shouldn't have done, you'll be well within your rights to check.
But at
them.
some point, you gotta get over it, right? I mean, if it's been like years.
Well, here's the thing: if you decided to stay with this person after what they did, you would have maybe come to some kind of understanding.
But if it's a cheating,
I can understand.
that's gonna be hard.
I can understand if you have issues. Now, this person deserved it. If you didn't want that to happen, you shouldn't have done what you did. But I believe that sometimes we screwed up, and
big times.
And it's okay to give someone a second chance.
It depends. We said at the same time.
It depends. But yes. So there could be reason why someone gets really tight on some. But even in a case like this where one of the partners may have screwed up, you can only put up with so much.
Yeah.
And if you decide to stay in a relationship, there need to be a certain level of trust. Now, how do you put yourself at ease in dealing with these things?
Can't.
Well, there's a few things you can do.
Well, the thing is, I feel like there's a few things you can do, of course. But then prior to that, there's a lot of constant thinking about what the partner did, right? You can't get over it. And to some people, it may take them like years to get over the fact that what they did, what the spouse did, where they'll call it where you violate the
trust.
The trust.
Yes.
So it can take time. Listen, if knowing me.
No, you have issues.
Knowing me, I'll pray for you, okay? I'll pray for you. Listen.
But there's a few things people can do. If you find yourself going down the line where you're getting really all tight on your partner, there's a few things you could do.
First thing I want to say is communications. Yes. Listen to your partners. Like, you don't know what they may be going through, right? Just listen to your partners. Like, all ears, all in.
There's this thing that we started doing with my company. It's a concept called listen to understand, as opposed to listen to respond. Mm-hmm. Listen so you can see where this person is coming from. Because sometimes we're so quick to jump in and give our thoughts.
True.
We didn't even hear the whole thing the person was saying, let alone even understand what's going on with them, so we can empathize and see how we can move forward, utilizing some of the things that now we learn about them. So besides listening, what else? How about this? Like in like, say, putting my arms around girls.
Yes.
I know that you have issues with that.
Right.
So now that I know that you have issues, then
a lot of women would have issues with that.
Then I do. And this is where, say, if there's certain behaviors that will throw your partner off, and obviously you understand that these are the things that, then just don't do them.
Change them.
Now, if it's something that's so important to you, then convince your partner that it's okay for you to do it and come to some kind of understanding. But I think the easier thing will probably
change them.
Just don't do them.
Don't do it for the sake of arguments, right? Don't do it for the sake of, how your partner feels about it, how your wife feels about it. Don't do it.
Or how your husband feels about it.
Listen, if you know that she doesn't like you text so-and-so, or she doesn't like when you in bed and you texting people, or you on Facebook constantly.
So text and erase the text.
Oh my God, baby, please do not take that advice from him, okay? I hope you haven't done that. I don't think you have.
No,
so I gotta go through his phone.
Well, you can get a text back. What do you do?
I gotta call iPhone and see who has been texting and what messages deleted.
Oh, the statements don't show the texts you send; they only show the calls.
But anyways, I am not that paranoid. Okay, so I would not go to that extent to do that. So
so behaviors that cause
behaviors, just change them. Like if my husband knows certain things that I don't like, and he knows certain things that vice versa.
Like, don't call no ladies honey, or no one should call me honey.
No one should call him Tishiri. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Well, no, I don't have no problem with someone calls you honey, unless if it's like an older person, right? Because to me, this whole honey thing and sweetheart thing.
We used to go to this restaurant, this Asian restaurant where we get our griots, and there was this lady, nice lady, and
I was not listen.
She will call me T-Sherry. So what do you want today? And she's like, really? But that was when we were dating. This hasn't happened anymore.
Because we haven't been there. We haven't been going there.
Haven't been there.
So,
I don't think that place is there anymore.
Oh, there we go.
So another thing that you could do is point out what you appreciate about your partner.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get so caught up on the things that are not happening the way we want that we fail to acknowledge the things that we appreciate about this person. You know, and believe me, if your partner understand that you appreciate them, that gives them some reassurance. That gives her or him some reassurance that this relationship is something to work on or keep going.
Listen, while my husband is talking, I'm thinking of, don't just say, I want you to stop being jealous. Okay, don't just say that. Listen, at some point you can get frustrated and you just like say it. It just come out naturally, right? I just want you to stop being jealous.
What's wrong with you? You're so jealous.
You know, like, can I just live my life? You know, because I have my life, you have your life. There's people out there that are like that. Like at some point they just blow up. And it's not just for us ladies. The guys, they get like this too sometimes, especially if they're going out with their boys or with their friends. You know, they go out to, you know, go for a drink or whatever. It's okay. Like I was telling my husband, it's okay if you, your brother, or my brother, all three of you guys get together and go out. That's okay. There's no reason for a wife should feel.
It depends on which bar we go to. Topless.
Well, why would you go there? First of all, you're married, okay? Unless if you're looking for something that you already have at home.
How about if we go to Hooters?
I've never been to Hooters. Now we'll never go to Hooters. Okay,
it's not for ladies.
Okay, first of all, then we will never go to Hooters. You will never go to Hooters. And that's it.
Okay. Now I know.
But listen, you gotta think, right? Think up here. Don't think the other way.
It's food they serve.
Listen.
People eat there.
People eat there, I understand. But if you know that a certain part of the body that's gonna be all out there, and there's no way he's not gonna look.
How about if we go to the beach?
That's even better.
The beach, yes, on a hot summer day, and we guys, actually, I'm building up. My brother's building up. Your brother's working out, so we all fit. We go to the beach.
So just the three of you guys?
Yeah, the boys. We just go hang out at the beach.
The wives?
The wives are at home. They couldn't come. Like for you, listen, you don't like the sun.
And there's let me tell you guys this. I just don't like the fact that if you're married and your man is constantly going out without you. Don't get me started.
Yeah, that's not too good.
Why are we even married? Why are we even in this relationship? I'm not saying like
there may be instances where
if we're going to a party, if we're going to an event, why are you going alone?
That could be a problem.
Is there something that you want to tell your spouse? Right? Right? I mean, if you're going out with your boys, you know, you're like, okay, once a month thing, you guys are going to the bar, just to chill and talk, guys talk. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I told my husband all the time. Because I know sometimes they just want to be out.
I know some guys that club late on the weekends. And they usually don't go with the.
Why would you want to go clubbing?
I mean, I know some guys, and this is what I'm saying.
Why would you want to go clubbing when you're married?
Once you're married, and this is where behaviors
go clubbing with your wife.
If you have kids, you don't have babysitters.
Once you put a ring on this, once there's a ring on this, there are certain things that you cannot do. There's certain behaviors that you cannot carry on.
And this is where this goes to the behaviors. There's certain things that you have to do your best to avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Would you like
late night?
Let's say if you have a friend who's happened to be single and it's like one of your like buddies from high school.
Yeah.
And then like, hey, well, I'm going out this weekend. You know, me and my friends, you know, some of them are married, some of them are not. Would you tag along with them?
At this moment, no. And reason being, I've been out of this life for a while. Maybe back then I may have considered
No,
it.
I'm talking about that
If
now.
it's-
If you were while you're married.
If it's a one-time thing and the guy's in town and we just need to get together, yes, I'll obviously let you in and we go out. But it wouldn't be a consistent thing that we
Right.
do.
And you know,
And
I wouldn't
this-
have no problem with it too if it's
Yes.
a one-time
I mean,
thing.
there may be occasions where you have to you may have to do something, but make sure that your partner understand, and it doesn't become a consistent thing. A thing you do every weekend,
Yeah,
every
it's
Friday, or every
like-
Saturday. Yeah,
No, but behaviors like when you marry someone, yes, you're gonna find that person more irritating by the things that you do, right? I'm gonna get so irritated because you just keep doing it. You just don't see my point. You just don't understand why this doesn't work for us. This needs to stop.
and this is where when you're in a relationship, it's not just one person. It's two people.
Hmm.
Which means we have to take our needs, our wants, our comfort into account. And sometimes we have to change things. But I think one of the most important things we have to look in a relationship, we got to look at you. We all have to look at ourselves
Yeah.
and see, what am I doing to help move this relationship forward?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's very easy to look at what this person's not doing.
Right.
How
right.
this person is screwing things up,
Yeah.
or how jealous they may be.
Mhm.
But that may be the reason why that jealousy is there, because I keep misbehaving or keep doing
Right.
things to bring more. So it's important to look at ourselves and say, okay, I'm in this relationship and this is why I got into it. And what am I doing to help keep that relationship moving forward?
Mhm.
What am I doing to nurture that relationship, to keep growing it?
Right.
And sometimes the change has to start with the
Yeah.
self.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to make some adjustment to your life, to the way you do things,
Yeah.
for the sake of your partner, and both individuals has to, not just one.
Yeah, I think, the thing is too, when you like kind of do a self-evaluation and see where you stand, what am I jealous of? What am I doing that's not working? What is he doing? Because there's times where you got to see it for yourself. I know for me, like I said before, when we were dating, I was more jealous of what my husband was doing versus now, the way he was reacting. But now it's not so much, because over time you get to learn the person and see how he is and certain things that he does and certain things that I do. And then I kind of like work on these things and make sure that we don't do them, right? Like I would say there's things that when you're a married man, complimenting like another woman is not really acceptable when it comes to me. I am I'm still against that. And I'm sure I'm not alone out there. When you are, I don't care unless if you're saying to your mom, my mom, that they look good, the dress look good on them. But that's one thing I told you way before, like saying a nice thing to someone else, it's not acceptable.
I don't say nice things to people.
And that's when when we talk about communications, right? We talking about communications earlier. We talk about how important it is for you to communicate, like open ears and listen to the person and let them know that, hey, I don't like this. I don't like when you do this. And then, we work on it. And it's the same way. If he doesn't like when guys compliment me, I'm okay with that.
Oh, if a guy compliment me, I'm good because I feel good. I'm with a woman. Yeah, I have no problems with that. Don't touch.
So it makes you feel good.
Well, yeah, I know my woman's looking fly.
Well, you already know your woman looking fly.
That makes me stand even taller.
Oh my God.
You see what you can't have.
She's mine. She's
What?
all mine.
See, and this is where understanding each other is where I compliment someone, she has an issue, but someone compliment her, I have absolutely no issues with it.
And if someone compliments you, I have an issue too.
I know you do.
Unless if it's a family member, okay? Unless if it's a family member, then I'm okay with that, okay? But if it's like an outsider, someone from either the church or the work or whatever, no. If I'm around, no. I don't get to here. But if I'm around, don't go and tell my husband that he look good. Get that out of your mind. Get that out of your head. And no,
Man.
I don't
See,
mind if my
I
mom.
have no problems. In fact, I welcome people to compliment my wife. And this is where the understanding is important. Share
Right.
those things.
Well,
Like,
how do you get
obviously,
over it, baby? How do you get over jealousy?
well, it starts with conversation. And you may
Yes.
not completely get over it,
Yes.
but you'll understand. It starts with talking to each other. Be open. Let your insecurities out.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation is important.
You
Now,
hear
don't
that,
expect that
ladies?
we
Be open.
we speak one day and no, it needs to be an ongoing conversation.
over
That's how
time.
we learn about each other. That's how
Right.
that's how we make progress.
Speak from your
Speak.
heart.
Speak from your heart. Don't just make stuff up.
Yes.
Don't just tell the person what they want to hear. No. If you have issues with something, yes. Now, give good reasons why you have issues. So the
Yeah.
person, because you got to help the person understand where the issue is coming from. Like my wife has this saying, she says, it's not you that I don't trust. I don't trust the people that you're
Yeah.
with.
I don't
And
trust
I
them.
understand that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And avoid justifying your actions. If you screwed up on something, it's okay to apologize and own up to it. Don't stop making excuses as to why it's okay that I did this. No.
You gotta man up and own it.
Yes. If you screwed up,
Man
I screw
up.
up. You know, ask for forgiveness.
Which is not gonna be easy.
Or take the consequences, whatever come with it. But don't justify your actions, because all that tells this person is that, man, he's really screwed up in the head. I can see that you screwed up.
Oh, she's
You
really
have the
screwed up.
guts. You have the balls. Well, if you're a guy, you have the balls. If you're a lady, you have the nerve to try to justify what you did so I could see that it's okay. No.
Mm-hmm.
And don't make accusations. If there's something that happens you're not sure, openly talk about it.
Yes. And that's the best way.
Openly talk about it. Now, if at the end the person screwed up, yes, you need to tell them shit in their face. You screwed up. But don't start with that. Because it could have been not a screw up. It could have been something legitimate that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't take a moment to talk about it and understand, and you just
Right.
jump right in with an accusation, man,
Yes.
this is going to cause problems.
But you already know that you screw up.
If in the case that you screw up.
You
But you know,
know?
there are times that if you don't take a moment to listen to understand,
Mhm.
you can make accusations that are nowhere near.
It better be a good one.
Yes. And
You
don't be
know?
confrontational. You know, it's
Don't
something I said.
assume things.
Don't assume things, but don't go into any conversation with the intent to fight.
Yeah, I always say, it's okay to talk about your concerns. It's okay to talk to your partner, to your spouse, your wife, your husband.
But this was, don't be confrontational. Don't just say, hey, you, I want to talk to you. Why'd you do this? No.
Or listen, or so and so said, someone said, and that's one thing my husband don't
Oh, I
like.
heard.
Oh, I heard, I heard you did this, and it's like, and the thing is too, sometimes you like waiting for them to be upfront first, but then just the time just keep on going and going, and then so you might as well just confront them. You might as well just like, hey, I heard. Is it true? So there's your door to be honest right there. Since you haven't said anything, so I heard this and this. Is it true or not? So now you gotta be able to explain yourself.
Yeah.
No going around the corner and says this, what had happened was, but you gotta be honest, communicate,
Yes. And that's where communication is important. And in any relationship, if the communication is not there,
Mm-hmm.
it's bound to have problems.
Yeah.
I don't care how old you are, I don't care how young you are. If you're not talking to each other, now not just, feed me food or clean my clothes or go wash the car. No, I'm talking about real deep
Damn.
conversation. Yeah, I mean, there's people that thinks that conversation with the spouse is just directions. I tell you what I want and I give you
Oh,
directions on it. There's people that's what
shoot.
they think.
Then we will never
That's
work
what they
out.
call communications.
I'm a communicator. Talk to me.
Oh shit, will chew your ears out.
But it's better for our relationships, right?
Oh, I agree.
I think
You know,
you're
she'll be
tired.
like, sometimes she'll be like, baby, you have 5 minutes? I'm like, yes, I'm standing. Before you know it, I'm sitting and it's a whole hour.
I got stuff to say. You gotta listen.
But it's
we
important
need
to
to
listen.
work on it. Like this morning,
What happened this morning?
I call you out on your stuff.
Yes, and you have
Communication.
you have to have that communication, and this is what's important, because as you find, as you communicate with each other, you grow, you learn, you
Mhm.
understand,
Yeah.
you change.
Yes. You know, it's funny that I mentioned that this morning, and my husband's like, okay, baby, I got to go to work. And I was going on and going at it. He's like, all right, honey, we'll talk about it later. I got to go. But that's just how I am. I love talking. I love communicating with my husband. Like,
Well,
we need
this
to
is
be-
the reason why she is a coach. She like to talk to people, and
do.
she like to guide people.
Yes.
Me, I listen.
And this time, I do tell you, I'm not talking to you as a wife. I'm talking to you as your coach.
I get free sessions. So.
Because he does get free session. That's what happened when you. But also, the only time he paid me was a while ago. And that was it.
I pay her every day because I
Yeah.
show up at the house. Hey guys, hey, let me just say this. In all honesty and in all seriousness, love is not about dominating the other partner. It's not
No.
about controlling what they do.
Right.
It's about having a relationship that's based on caring.
Yes,
I
yes.
care for this person. I want to see the best for both this person and
Right.
myself. We want to grow old together.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that needs to get done, do it. But do it in a way where no one's getting hurt, but you're very open with each other and you share with each other what's important.
Right.
And from time to time, you have to keep reminding yourself
Mm-hmm.
of what's important, because that helps you keep that healthy balance. Because as human, we all will get thrown in a number of different directions. There may be things that happens in our days and our lives that caused us to be off.
Right.
Allow yourself to be pulled back, maybe by the other person, or maybe there may be some pictures you keep in your house and you looked at it. It reminds you of how things used to be, and you get back to your normal self.
Right.
But be open,
Mm-hmm.
because relationship, just like anything else, changes.
Sure does.
And as it does, understand the change and make the best of it.
Mhm.
Obviously, we are there where we are right now. I guarantee you, in 10 years from now, even in 5 years from now, we are probably going to be different. Who knows? Our lives can be changed the next day.
Right.
But if our relationship is based on love for each other,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter how much we change.
Absolutely.
I would still love this woman.
Yes. I will still love you too, babe.
So, everybody,
Thank
I
you
appreciate
so
you
much.
listening to our podcast.
Yes.
It's round 2 of this jealousy thing.
Maybe I'll have a round 3. I don't know.
I don't want to be part of a round 3. I think we've covered enough. But obviously this is our experience, and part of it is based on people that we've come across or things that we've read. So I'd like to say that we experienced all of the things that we've shared, but we have not. And luckily we have not. So, but I'm hoping that we've shared enough with all of you.
Yes.
And I appreciate you staying in and listen. Please remember to subscribe.
Yes, I also want to mention this before you closed, honey. Thank you to, I think I have a few comments in there that I read your comments. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. It is something that it's growing and we want more comments. Please leave them down below and let us know how you feel. Share your feelings, share your thought with us, and let us know what to talk about next time. Because I truly want to give a shout out to Rose, because she watched the podcast all the time and she enjoyed our conversation. And I really appreciate you, girl. Thank you. So this is your shout out, boo.
And all of the other ones who commented, we do appreciate. She takes a lot of joy in reading
I do.
the comments. So if you've
I
been
do.
listening and
Thank you.
you've enjoyed what we've done, even if it's one word,
The podcast is going.
drop a comment.
Yeah. Even if it's like, I love you guys.
Anyway, but we really appreciate you and thank you. If it's your first time with us, obviously we do want you to subscribe so you can be notified when we put out these videos. There should be a bell icon somewhere in there. Just click on it. That's where it puts you on the list that whenever we put out one of these videos, it'll pop up on your phone and let you know there's a new one out.
Yes.
Now, for those of you who've been with us since the beginning, we really appreciate
Beginning
you
of time.
keep supporting the channels. Obviously, we're looking for contents to make things more lively, more
Right.
enjoyable, and
Yes.
obviously more educating. So thank you. Don't forget to listen to us on SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iTunes. We have it on the Apple Podcast. So, this way you get to not only watch us, but if you're driving and you want to listen to us talking about different things, you can do that as well. So until then, bye. Peace.
Boom, boom, boom.